What if the person who loved you most was the one secretly undoing you? Not with fists or violence, but with words, silence, charm. Every minute you spend in their presence feels like salvation until it starts to feel like suffocation. One moment you're adored beyond reason. The next you're discarded like you never mattered. The narcissist doesn't come for your body. They come for your reflection. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're staring in the mirror wondering where you went. Here's the part no one tells you until it's too late. Narcissists follow a blueprint, a playbook. With tactics so well practiced, so psychologically precise, they could make you question your own memory, sanity, and identity. And unless you understand their game, you will get played. Maybe you already have. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover the 7 devastating tactics narcissists don't want you to know. If you leave now, you'll keep bleeding in relationships you think are love but are actually control. But if you stay, this video could untangle everything, offering you a level of freedom most never reach. This isn't just about seeing them clearly. It's about finally seeing yourself again. For a narcissist, love isn't connection. It's control wrapped in charm. At first, they don't just meet your needs, they anticipate them. You feel seen, understood, chosen. They love bomb you with curated empathy, grand gestures, instant intimacy. It feels like a romantic dream, but it's a psychological trap. You're not falling in love with them, you're falling into their design. They become a mirror, reflecting your desires, your traumas, your vulnerability. It doesn't happen by accident, it's precision. What's really happening? They're constructing the ideal fantasy just long enough to make you emotionally dependent. This weaponized affection is the first step of extraction. First your trust, then your power. Have you ever apologized for things you didn't do just to keep the peace? Have you ever felt yourself shrinking to fit someone else's comfort? If that sounds familiar, it's no coincidence. It's psychological design. That's the second phase of the narcissist's pattern, gaslighting. At first, it's subtle. You question a moment that felt off and they explain it away. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. That never happened. But inside, part of you knows it did. And yet you begin doubting yourself. How does that happen? The narcissist doesn't just lie. They reconstruct reality, one tiny brick at a time, until yours collapses and you start living in theirs. This isn't confusion, it's control. And the more you question them, ironically, the more you question yourself. Gaslighting is only a gateway. It leads to the next tactic, isolation. One day you realize you haven't seen your friends in weeks. Your family becomes toxic in their eyes. Anyone outside this relationship doesn't understand what you two have, but what's really happening is enclosure. You're being emotionally quarantined under the illusion of intimacy. The narcissist needs your entire world to orbit around their approval, because disconnection is freedom, and they can't risk that. Over time, your circle shrinks. Your voice dulls. You find yourself defending someone you're secretly terrified of upsetting. As Carl Jung once said, loneliness does not come from having no one around, but from being unable to communicate what seems important to you. And the narcissist ensures that loneliness becomes your new home. Why do we cling to people who hurt us over and over and over again? Why does the very person who crushes you also feel like your oxygen? It's not weakness, it's trauma bonding. This is where the narcissist's fourth tactic wreaks havoc. Intermittent reinforcement, pain, reward, withdrawal, praise. It's a head-spinning cycle that turns love into survival and survival into addiction. Just when they sense you've had enough, they return softer, sweeter, even more magnetic. And it reactivates the original high. But make no mistake, this is not redemption, it's regression. You begin craving not love, but the small hits of validation they dangle above you like a starving addict chasing euphoria. And just like Skinner's rats pushing a button for random rewards, your nervous system gets hijacked. They wire your pain to their affection, and soon you can't tell the difference between intimacy and imprisonment. As time goes on, their accusations begin rolling in, and it's always you. You're the selfish one. You're the liar. You're the unstable one. But here's the kicker. Everything they accuse you of, they're doing themselves. Welcome to Tactic 5, Projection. This is how they purge the guilt they can't face. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead to an understanding of ourselves. But narcissists violently reject that law. Their shadow, the dark unconscious self, is unbearable. So rather than integrate it, they vomit it onto you. They rewrite history to suit their delusion, pushing their shame into your hands like poisoned fruit, then calling you vile for holding it. And then comes the emotional landmine, triangulation. A stranger's name slips into conversation one too many times. An ex suddenly reappears. Or you're subtly compared to someone you're not quite measuring up to. This isn't an accident, it's architecture. The sixth tactic of narcissistic abuse isn't about the third person. It's about what happens inside you when doubt replaces safety. You compete, you try harder, you contort yourself hoping to earn what was once freely given. Through triangulation, the narcissist creates artificial scarcity, where love must be won, not received. And in the process, you become addicted not even to the person but to the chase. Then without warning, you're discarded. Coldly, casually, replaced, ghosted. It's as if you were never real. You grasp for closure but get silence. All you're left with is confusion and collapse. But just as the fog starts to lift, just as you start to breathe again, they come back. I've been thinking, what we had was special. This is Tactic 7, Hoovering. Like a vacuum, they suck you back into the cycle, not out of love but power. They missed the control. They missed your palm masquerading as devotion, and all they have to do is remind you of the illusion. But here's the truth. If someone repeatedly abandons you, only to return when you start to heal, they don't love you. They own you. By now you might be asking yourself, why did I stay? Why did I let them back in? Why didn't I see it sooner? But don't confuse survival for complicity. Narcissistic abuse isn't just emotional. It's neurological, spiritual, and existential. It's not just that you loved the wrong person. It's that their manipulation reached inside and rewired your identity itself. What you called love was often a carefully engineered vacuum. And what you thought was your intuition was their echo. But now you're awakening. And awakenings are painful because they require you to admit that you were asleep. But they're also sacred because what you reclaim now isn't just perspective, it's personhood. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And sometimes becoming that version of yourself means walking away from every version of you that needed them to feel whole. Healing after a narcissist requires more than distance. It requires excavation. Plunging into your shadow, naming the abandonment you kept rationalizing, choosing your voice even when it trembles. No contact isn't a punishment, it's a resurrection. You were never too much. You were never the crazy one. You were simply in the presence of someone who needed to feel powerful at someone else's expense. But real power is quiet. Real love doesn't condition itself. It doesn't break you, silence you, confuse you. It sees you, it anchors you, it lets you breathe. The Narcissist Playbook might be timeless, but so is your awakening. If you've made it this far, it means part of you is ready to walk away, not just from them, but from the cycle. Ready to reclaim your life on your terms. And when that moment comes, you'll no longer need revenge. You'll feel something much more permanent, indifference. If you've made it this far, I want to know who truly understood the message. Leave the phrase, "I reclaimed my reflection," in the comments. And let's see how many of you truly grasp what it means to heal, to remember your worth, and to walk away from illusion with your soul intact. If this video made you question something, if it made you see things from a different angle, like and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, the most dangerous mask is the one we give our trust. And the most powerful freedom is letting go of the love that was designed to erode you.